What if I told you that right in the center of your chest, there's a forgotten point, yet profoundly sacred? Not a muscle, not an organ, but a silent portal that, when touched with intention, deactivates fear, anxiety, and the feeling of being alone in this world. It's not just any point. It's the place where your soul speaks when no one else does. The place you instinctively bring your hand to when you're in distress. Right there, where the chest tightens. And also, if you allow it, where it can begin to expand. Today, I'm going to reveal to you a practice that is as simple as it is powerful. One that for centuries was used by sages, mystics, warriors, and mothers to calm the heart, reconnect with God, and return to center when everything outside seemed to collapse. This isn't a new ritual. It's a lost language between the skin and the soul. And if you stay until the end, you will discover a way to activate your inner strength without words, only presence. This is the Napoleon Hill Code. We don't talk about theories here. We restore the spiritual power that's always lived within you. Welcome to the only channel that doesn't motivate you. It reminds you who you are. Long before laboratories, psychology manuals, or emotional management guides existed, the wise ones of the earth already knew something we have forgotten, that the body holds sacred codes. And one of those codes lives right here, in the center of the chest. The ancients had many names for it. The inner altar, the core of the soul, the point of the sleeping lion. Before going to battle, warriors would strike this spot with purpose, close their eyes, and exhale. Not to become invincible, but to remind themselves that courage doesn't live in the muscles. It lives in a chest that beats with purpose. Mothers would place their hand on their child's chest to soothe crying, without saying a word. And the crying would ease, not by magic, but because the skin recognizes truth before the mind does. Even ancient mystics knew that placing a devoted hand on the chest didn't just calm the body, it aligned the soul. Because the chest doesn't only hold the physical heart, it holds the emotional compass that always points to center, even when the outside world seems to spin. This gesture isn't modern or therapeutic or psychological. It's ancient, spiritual, radically human. It's a touch that says without words, I'm here. I'm with you. You don't have to be afraid. And that reminder, we're going to awaken it together today. Right in the center of the chest, just behind the sternum, there lives a small gland called the thymus. For years, science considered it irrelevant after childhood. But the ancients knew something we're just beginning to remember. The thymus is more than biology. It's an energetic key. This gland is part of the immune system, but it's also deeply connected to the nervous system and our emotions. When we feel fear, sadness, or insecurity, the thymus contracts. When we feel love, safety, and peace, it expands. It's like a silent radar, scanning our inner state. And the most amazing part, it can be activated with something as simple as a gentle touch. Modern studies have begun to confirm what spiritual traditions intuited for centuries. Conscious touch in this area regulates the parasympathetic system, calms the internal alarm, and activates a physical sensation of, I'm safe. This point becomes a trust switch, not a trust based on logic, but on somatic memory. Have you ever been hugged tightly? Someone placed their hand on your chest, and something inside you calmed down? It's not a coincidence. The body remembers. The soul recognizes it. Because right there, in the energetic heart, lives the certainty that fear tries to hide from you. And you don't need someone else to do it for you. You can generate that response. You can remind your body of what your soul already knows. I'm not in danger. I am in my center. And everything I need lives within me. Activating the thymus is like telling your entire system to drop its weapons, that the war is over, that it can now rest and trust again. Maybe you've already done it and didn't even know. You felt sadness, deep sadness, and without thinking, you placed your hand over your chest. It wasn't a pose. It was instinct. It was your soul trying to touch itself through your body. Or maybe someone did it for you. They hugged you, and in the middle of that hug, they placed their hand on your chest. And even though you were still broken inside, something paused. The crying slowed down, and fear stepped back. That's proof that this point not only exists, it's active within you. During prayer, many people place their hand on their chest, not because they were taught, but because something inside them whispers, "Connect from here." And the same happens in love. The soft touch over the chest, the gentle caresses, aren't just tenderness. They are a way to touch essence without words. It's a primitive, universal language, one you don't learn. You remember. Because the center of the chest isn't just part of your body. It's a bridge between your soul and your flesh. And every time you touch it with intention, you're returning to yourself. This practice isn't complicated. You don't need incense, crystals, or candles. You only need presence, skin, and devotion. Find a quiet place. If you can, turn off the light. Close your eyes and place your right hand on the center of your chest, not on the physical heart, but slightly above, where the bone meets the soul. Now, with your index and middle fingers gently together, make a slow, circular, soft motion, as if your hand were touching sacred lake water. Don't press, don't scratch, just touch, like you're softly waking a sleeping child. Do it for 1 minute. Breathe deeply as you do, and accompany the gesture with a word, an intention, an affirmation as gentle as a prayer. I am safe. I can trust. God is holding me. There is no fear here. Do it for 1 more minute. Switch hands if you'd like, but don't turn it into a mechanical habit. This is not a massage. It's a spiritual act. You can do it before bed, when you wake up, or in the middle of a hard day, when fear shows up, when anxiety arises, when your mind starts running like a wild horse. Touch your chest. Remember the code. I am more than this thought. I am more than this fear. I am the temple, not the storm. And if you feel heat, tears, peace, or an unexplainable emotion, let it flow. It's your system responding. It's your soul saying, "Thank you for coming home." Do it with reverence. Do it like someone bowing before a sacred altar. Because that's exactly what you're doing. Entering the holiest place there is. You. In many mystical cultures, the chest isn't just part of the body. It's the throne of the soul. Most spiritual traditions agree on something. When God wants to speak to you, He doesn't do it from the outside. He does it from the center of your being. And that center is right here, where the heartbeat lives, where faith and silence meet, where spirit whispers truths the mind can't grasp. Some call it the heart chakra, others the sacred altar, others the dwelling of the eternal. In Christian mystic teachings, it was called the inner heart, a spiritual region where the soul and God embrace. Where man doesn't plead, he listens, and that place can be touched, not with violence, not with haste, but with a living, conscious, reverent hand. When you place your hand on your chest with devotion, you're not doing something external. You're activating a code that's already embedded in your original design, the code of connection. The body responds, the energy field responds, the divine presence responds. Because this gesture, though it may seem simple, is a form of prayer without words. It's like saying, I'm here. I surrender. You speak now, Spirit. I've heard enough noise from the world, and just then, in the middle of the silence, something inside you ignites. And in that instant, everything changes, because you're no longer seeking answers. You're inhabiting the center. We live in a culture that rewards speed, logic, productivity, and punishes pause, tenderness, introspection. In a world that teaches us to suppress what we feel, placing your hand on your chest is a revolutionary act. It's telling the world, I won't run anymore. I won't fake strength while I'm breaking. I won't ignore myself another second. It's a return to the center of the soul, a reminder to yourself that power doesn't lie in appearances, but in connection. In that instant, when you touch yourself with devotion, you're not fixing something broken. You're awakening something that's been asleep. You're activating a truth older than any fear. I was already enough, before success. I was already loved, before recognition. I was already strong, even in my weakest nights. This practice is more than a stress reliever. It's a key to remember who you were before the trauma, before the noise, before the forgetting. You don't need to know more. You just need to touch yourself with presence and trust that your body knows the way back. Because in the end, you didn't come here to survive. You came to remember your greatness. And that memory starts right here. Maybe you didn't know it, but there's a door inside you that doesn't open with keys or force or desperate prayers. That door opens with a gesture, a soft one, a conscious one, one that starts on the skin and ends by touching the soul. And it's right here, where the chest beats, where flesh meets faith, where the body finally remembers what the spirit never forgot. When you place your hand on your chest, you're not trying to control anything. You're saying, I surrender, I trust, I'm here. And the universe responds. God responds. Your entire body responds. Because your whole system understands this language, the language of tenderness, the language of the soul. Do it tonight. Do it before sleep. Do it in silence. Do it as if every touch were a prayer. And if you feel something move inside you, don't run. You're touching a point of return, a point of power, a point of peace. Remember this. Rest is not always found in bed. Sometimes it's found in the center of your chest. And if this truth awakened something in you, if you feel this practice could help someone else, don't keep it just for yourself. Share it. Subscribe to this channel and join this community where each week we remember what matters most. That you're not broken, that you're not alone, and that the power to heal was never outside. It always lived within. This is the Napoleon Hill Code, and here, touching the soul is an act of truth.